So Jermaine, I want you to share for motivation for others, what has been your improvement on the LSAT so far?
Okay, so I went from about like 11 out of 25 for LR to averaging like a 19 to 20 out of 25, and the highest I got so far was a 23 out of 25 this past week, heading into the October LSAT.
How long has it taken you to see this improvement?
Oh, geez, it's been too long, but in total, the total amount of time that I guess you would say like seriously studied was about like 7 to 8 months or so. But about working with you, I would say, I think I started working with you since about March, April or May.
April or May. And I think
Yeah.
that it's kind of varied in how often we're meeting, etc. Where has the improvement, where some people are like, that's so long, but you got a 23 out of 25. So that's significant. I would take on test day in a second. What has allowed you to get to that improvement, do you think?
I definitely think it was slowing down, because my biggest focus, like always, was, I need to do it in 35 minutes. And thankfully, I was able to do this 23 out of 25 in 35 minutes. I think it was like 34 in like 30 seconds, but nobody's counting. But I would definitely say slowing down, because I was always, I have to make sure I get it in 35 minutes, and like not really caring too much about finding or predicting or anything like that. So once I started...
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you said something about like finding and predicting. Has your strategy to studying changed at all since you were getting like 11 out of 25 to now getting 23 out of 25?
Oh yeah, it definitely has. Before it was kind of just, I know you can go online and find a whole bunch of different things about it, but I was always one of the people in the beginning where I was like, I should jump around and then come back. And that kind of never put me on a rhythm that I'm used to. And I noticed that with studying, I like rhythms. So just staying like one after another without like jumping around and thinking, this one might be easier than this one, and just approaching all of them as, okay, I have this set of rules that I'm gonna approach every question with, and then move on from there. I feel like that definitely helped me improve.
Do you have a set approach for LR in general? Like for each question type?
Yeah, I would say for each question type, I try to answer each of them closely the same, but everything is just a little bit different. I do always make sure, especially like with you, to predict more, because I was terrible at it.
Yes, what is predicting, and do you recommend it?
Yeah, so essentially predicting.
And were you hesitant to predict at first?
Oh yeah, I wrote down a couple of my first predictions and they were terrible. They were so far off. And I was reading them back a couple of days ago actually, and I was like, who predicts this? I was like, who would even think this? I was like, oh god. But yeah, definitely, even just writing down my predictions, they help so much. And just like making an assumption of what the answer might be, even if it's so far off, it still gives you the thought of like, why would somebody even think this is a prediction for this, and like, what is this kind of rooted in? I feel like that just helps a lot.
Do you use a wrong answer journal?
I do, yeah.
Resistingly?
Yeah. As bad as it sounds, I'm kind of like a boomer when it comes to it. So I use a notebook. I don't even use like a Google Doc anymore. So
no,
I just
okay. That's okay. But the Google Doc originally is because I need to check to make sure you're actually doing it. But now I trust you. Yeah. What is the value of a wrong answer journal? Or have you gotten any value? Or do you think it's a waste of time?
Yeah, so at first, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a waste of time in the beginning, but that was because I was getting so many wrong. I had to write down like 4 pages, and I was like, this is the worst thing ever. So, but it's definitely more recently. I would say the improvement has been slow for the wrong answer journal, but I definitely like it a lot more because I kind of know now what I'm getting wrong. So like, for example, I was getting must be true and weekend questions wrong for the past couple prep tests. And then I kind of noticed that it was like a repetitive amount of some mid ones and like some higher difficulty ones. So I was kind of able to just practice those for 2 to 3 days. And that's actually when I got the 23 out of 25, and it was just improving on the must be true questions that I was working on. So it definitely helps you kind of key in on your weaknesses, essentially, is the best explanation for it.
There's huge value in you finding your own mistakes. Do you think that you've become a better studier?
Yeah, because I feel like before it was a shotgun approach, and now it's kind of more of a precision and measured out approach.
Remember when you were wanting to take a practice test every week?
Yeah, I was like, should I start taking one every single week to just get ready? I was like, but thinking about it, I was like, that was a terrible approach.
So what is your goal score, and do you think you're ready?
So I'm looking at schools in kind of the East Coast area. So I would be very happy if for October I come out with like I'll be happy with like 165, but in the range of things like a 161 to 165, 166, I definitely think it's attainable.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And then are you going to take it again after October?
Yeah, I might take it for some dollar bills.
Yes, no, I can accept that. Taking it, like if you're ready for October, you might as well take November, because even if you go, like someone said, like on average, especially after like 158 or something, each additional point is worth like $7,000 or $8,000 in scholarships, like on average.
Yeah.
So like if you just go up 1 point, that can be significant.
Yeah, and I'd rather be like, I know some of the schools, I mean, I probably shouldn't say I know, but some of the schools that I'm looking at, I might get waitlisted with like a 164, 165. So I'd rather get waitlisted and say, hey, look, I just got 3 extra points or 4 extra points. And then
like, I didn't give up. I continued to work hard.
Yeah.
I want to go here. So I made myself even more a more attractive candidate. No, I love that. And that gives you like a great reason to write a letter of continued interest.
Yeah, so I'm just like that compared with some of those schools like Villanova, for example, where they don't have a super high median, but it's just like being able to get over their like median is 75% and just being able to argue, saying, hey, I want...
Argue! No,
yeah.
Advocate!
Advocate. Just being able to advocate and be like, hey, I want X amount of money because I'm coming in as a good student. I feel like that's
the other thing is like once you go up and score, if they've already given you a scholarship and you reach out and you say, hey, I want to like talk about a good reason to negotiate scholarships. I tell people, like once you get your first scholarship, like from a better school, you should try to negotiate then, and then take the test. And so hopefully they go up a couple thousand, and then take the test again and try to negotiate again. Like that's
yeah.
That's
just be like, hey, I have this and I have this. Come on.
Like you have to do it in 2 separate times, so you make them come up twice.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing, for your last question, what has been like the biggest game changer, do you think, in your studying that like you've started to see the improvement?
No, honestly, I think the biggest game changer was, we talked about it recently, I think a week or in our last tutoring, but I know you even brought it up with me before, I think in like, I would say maybe August, give or take, but essentially just doing like 35 minutes, but not trying to finish in 35 minutes. So like getting to say 15 or 16, but it's better to get like 16 correct than getting just a handful correct. I think was probably the best approach, or kind of like the biggest improvement that I've seen. Right. Because
that's what I think we should say is like your sections, when you were getting 16, 17, you weren't finishing. So you were getting like 16 out of 20, 17. Because I remember when you're like, I just want to get 20. I just want to get 20.
Yeah.
Like, but for you, like it was like we were slow. What has been the slow grind for you has been getting faster. Like because your accuracy, we worked on your accuracy heavily the first 3 months, and now it's like your deeper understanding of these questions so that you can get to 20. And like I think you're the best example of like if you stay course and you stay true to the process, you will get faster. Like you will. It just takes time. Awesome. Right. Sorry. What?
Oh no, I was gonna say I definitely think that's a really good approach for most people. That because even like some of my friends who are prepping for the LSAT, they kind of think that they have to do the 25 right away. And like just how you said before, if you get your 20 and like say you get your 20, then you guess on the remaining 5 before time runs out when you're taking the actual test. Like even if you get 1 or 2 right, if you know for sure you got 20 correct, you have 22 out of 25, and it's like that's a good thing to write home about.
Most people would like just like would do anything to get like even 20 out of 20. Like let's say you get to 20 and you only get 17 right and you guess 1 right and you get an 18, you only have to get an 18 on every section to get a 160. Like
so it's just like that's
thank you for sharing that.